Hey, a field trip. And look, you can see a ways out here. This is the north end of our road. It's like half-mile visibility for part of this. Went up on the hill, took a look. Actually talked to one of the neighbors up there. He's been fighting the fire. He's right across from the field we got up there. Has a big tree farm. And he asked me if he's going to come up and disc. And I said, well, yeah. I've been told the road's closed, can't go up there. And level 3 evacuations, way at the bottom of the hill. And not like I've had time. So we're gonna go get the disc now, and now's my opportunity, since that particular landowner last year had a fit because we were disking. He didn't want his groundwork again. He wanted us to leave it in what was there, and what was there was junk. That's what's still there, because it didn't get planted last year. Because why? He didn't want us to disc it enough to plant it. So it looks like it's going to get thicker going up here to get to the disc. Look, Red Hood going down into the abyss. Yeah, take this thing home, get some grease on it, check the left front hub. Since the newly sealed hub that was done a year and a half ago, I think, new axle seal on that one, and while they were at it, they ended up putting new bearings and seals in the hub, and yeah, the hub's been leaking. Started leaking about the time we actually started disking. It's like, really? Actually, I think it started about the last week we were bailing. But I'll let you go so I can shift some gears and get moving here at the bottom. I don't come down real fast because none of this is light, and idiots pull out in front of things, and so I always take her easy coming down. Here's what makes these fires tough to fight. A lot of stuff up here is reap rod, and hasn't had the lower limbs took off. Grass and brush, blackberries, all underneath. 90% of it on a slope. A little steeper than the field I'm in. Most of it's a lot steeper than the field. Even right here, that drop off is pretty good drop off. I just thought I'd show you the edge here, because that's the kind of stuff that part of their firefighting is. It's this. You can't even walk through that when it's not burned. Barn's over there by the trees. Landowner's house is up behind me. There's a look across that canyon, which isn't that far. Literally those trees in the middle of the screen that you kind of see, those are a little over a quarter mile away from me. Yeah, maybe between a quarter and a half. The fire is almost straight behind me. I can't see any of it from here. There's a draw between here and it. And I was told this morning, when I came up here to see what was going on, make sure I could even get up here, that it's pretty much contained, but the stuff along this edge, they haven't got the hot spots out, and they're not completely contained either, but if it takes off, it'll be here. And this is the field that, sorry about the bouncy, but this is rougher than shit. This is the one where the landowner decided, after 30 years of farming this and working it properly, they didn't want it worked over 2 inches deep. Well, going 2 inches deep, the ground doesn't turn, it just kind of rolls half up. And we never got it planted last year because, we weren't allowed to get it worked down, and then it rained. And we were going to come in and get some of the volunteer crop out of here. And there was enough. There's a little patch right here in front of me. There was enough to make it worthwhile about 3 weeks before we started combining. It was actually, parts of this were probably actually better than what we did combine. But now, there's nothing left. The wind knocked it down and knocked the seeds off, and There's a strip in here that wasn't too bad between me and the barn. There's some still standing underneath the tree. Little grass, little oats. I don't see any seed heads. So, yeah. I am, well, by road, I'm about 2 miles from the farm right now. It is that way, where you can't see it all. And I gotta wonder, I keep hearing stuff that's been going on up here. There's a strip here that looks like somebody's been riding through it, or they might have mowed this. Landowner's son-in-law was apparently out here with their little tractor and mower doing some when they said, wait a minute, you can't do that because all industrial activity is closed. That means you can't even mow your lawn. And he was out here with a little bitty Ford tractor and I think a 5-foot mower. He did some around the house, which he only made a few passes. I don't know. This doesn't go all the way up there though. But I heard that, was it search and rescue or something, was up here doing some training in the trees over here. So somebody mowed a strip from the corner of the road down. Well, I'm sorry. You know, luckily I didn't have a crop I cared about in here, but you know, nobody asked me. And legally you can't do shit in my field without asking me. So I don't know who okayed that kind of stuff. And after we had it worked up last fall, the way it got worked anyway, one of the neighbors in front of me, there's like 5 houses straight ahead of me. Apparently one of them was out here in their Kawasaki mule, riding around out in the field. Well, what the hell? They had no idea if it was planted or not. I'm going to find their ruts here in just a minute because they're up here. I know they are. Not that I'll be able to tell it. Like I said, if it doesn't get disked down right, it's rough. And usually we'd pick a few limbs up, but I haven't seen anything big enough to worry about. Yeah, they mowed into there and mowed in here. County dug their ditch out and then let it fill in when it took the big swath across the field. And the fire's up that way. I'll bring you back at that end. Landowner's house. Straight through those trees would be the direction of the farm. Barn's down there. Hags Tree Farm across the road. I should have shown you back there when I was closer, but the direction of the fire is off to my right now. There's a big ravine here between the trees close to me and the farther ones that you see. That runs clear to the bottom of the hill. And then when it gets up in here, there's like 4 or 5 different ravines in here. There's one big one, and that's what the fire was in. And our field up on Jaquith Road is just about straight through there. And what I heard is it's black. Road's closed to go up there, so. And say it was cut off anyway. We took hay off that, so there wasn't anything there. But this corner of the fire is through here somewhere, and then it goes that way. People that spent the night down at our place in their motorhome literally live, excuse me, not even a quarter of a mile straight through from right here. And it was in the ravine behind their house. So the ravine on this side, to the best of my knowledge, didn't get it, but they still say it's fairly close up here. But nothing's evacuated until another half mile up this road. But you never know. All it takes is one ember to go for a little flight. And yeah, at least this part here's got some green in it. Well, actually, wouldn't have made bad hay right here, but not worth coming up here to cut a half an acre. And there's some oats here. Some of it's still on. Most of it's knocked off by the looks of it. Quick look at the spring hooks. I didn't walk out in it. I just looked at it when I grabbed the tractor. It looks like it's probably all turned now. It's still more or less standing, which is pretty good after the winds we had. And right in here somewhere is about where I picked you up last time, and I'm going to leave you off here too. So this is actually working up pretty good. I'm really surprised, as dry as it is. It's not chunking out, it's breaking up for the most part. And with all the material on it, it's breaking up good. And I'm half lapping. We'll see how it looks. I won't know till I get back around to the barn. But that's how I'm going to do it. I'll finish this round. I'll probably finish this round up at the top of the hill and then turn around. Go around the outside backwards. That'll not only work the corners up like this one ahead of me because I'm turning the wrong direction here, but it'll get a good edge and I can get over a little closer to the trees, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I'm doing for a bit. Paul would have been up here running it today, but he decided the smoke finally cleared enough at his house that he could pick up a bunch of the limbs and stuff in his yard. His house is in the middle of a bunch of fir trees. His is kept cleaned up. I mean, there's no low branches. The grass underneath is cut. There's no brush. Why? Because he's like me. We fought a few of these fires together back in the day. Keep the shit underneath cleaned up. You don't got to worry about it. But you get like here, you know, this is what you got when the landowner, yeah, let her grow to trees. Harvest it in 50 years. Well, yeah, but you got 50 years of brush underneath. So when the fire comes through, it makes a mess. Oh well, it is what it is. There's a lot of ground like that around here. So I'll let you go. I'll bring you back later, maybe. Well, I've been at it for, a while. That's how much I got done. Keep in mind, I'm half lapping. So instead of covering 15 feet, I'm covering 7 feet. Get around the corner, you might see some difference. Depending on where you're at in the field, how much difference there is, but like right here, it is making a difference. That's what I want. It's faster than trying to do kitty corner and then round and round. I've got a pretty good fire break. Is it the way I like it? No. But it may work, it may not. The corners obviously won't work very well. I get a couple more rounds. I'm going to go ahead and do the corners because they're pretty well set where you're going to be. So you can guess out there where it's going to be. And I don't raise it on the corner. As long as I'm turning left, it just lifts up and slips around and comes back down. We've done it that way for years with this disc. Blades hold up, so I don't worry about it. I got a message a little bit ago. Ron sent me a message, says, hey, they're letting people go back home up here now. And if I'd have been quick earlier, I'd have got a couple of them. I've seen probably 5 or 6 people pulling their camp trailers back up here because obviously at least they had a home to live in when they were gone. And they're going home. So that's a good thing. And followed one of State Forestry's rigs up here earlier. I met him at the intersection at the bottom. He ended up between me and the flag truck. And of course, hey, we let him by. So this looks a hell of a lot better. I wanted to be up here and do this a while ago, but you know, all hell kind of broke loose. And I've had people ask me if any of this stuff going on has been arson. No, I just spent, I don't know, I spent at least an hour on Facebook, I guess, which I don't do much anymore. There are so many links to different sheriff's offices around the state that they've picked people up and charged them with arson. So I think, reading through all the crap, they got at least 5 people anyway. Sounds like it's 5 people actually in custody and charged with arson. And one I heard on the news the other night, I guess that was the looters. Looters that got caught. They're in jail with no bail. They cannot be released until after the judge has time to review their cases and decide whether they will get to get out on bail or not. I think that's a good thing. So, yeah, it's still smoky up here. It's come and gone, and come and gone. And the guy that used to work for us, his folks' place was across the canyon over here. Earlier, I could see the house and the barn and everything, and then I couldn't even see the trees right across the road. Yeah, you can see the buildings over there now. So, anyway, I'm going to call it good with this and load this up for you. It's almost 4 o'clock. And anybody wondering, yes, I could go faster than I'm going, but this field's too rough for that. Keep in mind, this was this shallow last year because the landowner didn't want us to work the ground very deep. Well, you just get shallow if you actually get it worked up enough to plant. That's worse than if you just get deep. I couldn't get that through his head. And the only erosion troubles we've ever had up here is behind me, down below the barn where the road got a corner in it. The county dug the ditches and they put a bio bag right down there. There is no ditch there now. And when it hit the bio bag, everything plugged up and pushed it into the field instead of the road, and made a 5-foot wide, 2-foot deep swath clear across the field down there. It took us, we worked the hell out of it and pulled it in with the heavy harrow to try to fill that. And it was 2 years before we could tell, couldn't still tell where it was at. So I don't think he needs to worry about complaining to us about erosion because it doesn't. We work it so it doesn't. Or work it so we minimize it, I should say. This little draw, this house right there, the draw by the road, that used to get little ones, usually because there was gopher hills in there. And the water be down in the gopher runs and pop back up. But yeah, when water's popping back out of a gopher run, it's just like sticking a garden hose there. It's going to wash. Other than that, the only other places he used to drive his tractor from his house up here down there to the barn. Right down the middle of the field over here. It always did. But it was in his tire tracks. Nowhere else. Yeah, little smoke. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. And, of course, as always, thanks for all the firefighters. Because they seem to have this one almost done.